what on earth is going to happen in Miami, Florida on Friday night in the early hours of Saturday morning? Jake Paul goes in against Anthony Joshua. What is Jake Paul capable of doing against Anthony Joshua? So more and more in the build-up to this, we're hearing from the two fighters. May as well hear from Jake.
Yeah, on paper, the cards are stacked against me. But really, in terms of boxing, I'm a better boxer than AJ, which is like hilarious to say. But he's got 2 left feet. He's stiff. If I was his coach, I'd put him in a dance class first before trying to box. And really just bringing in the right sparring partners to help me prepare so that I can get looks that are similar to him. And that's really just been the strategy. But I'm just going to go in there and display all my skills.
Everyone watching that on YouTube there, the thing that amazed me, Simon, was that he said it with a totally straight face.
Well, he's a very good salesman, isn't he? I mean, the fact is that you judge somebody by, unless there's been an absolute sea change in what he's capable of doing. We've seen him. We've seen him fight. We've seen him fight Tommy Fury. We saw the level of his skills. So we know that this is an entertainment proposition. It's an event. It's not a serious boxing fight. It's only serious because Anthony Joshua has such a huge reputation. It's only serious because of the scale of money that's available to these two protagonists. Other than that, the way it plays out is Jake Paul gets knocked out. I would suspect he gets knocked out or stopped in the most harmless way, in terms of maybe he gets a body punch which takes him out and he doesn't get headhunted by Anthony Joshua, because if he gets hit by a shot that hit Francis Ngannou, he's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
No two ways about it. But
it's not scripted. It's not scripted.
I don't think it's scripted, but people are.
But you're making it sound there that maybe it is slightly scripted. No,
I think it's an inevitability about what the outcome is likely to be. I think Anthony Joshua.
Every other fight is scripted.
There's a jeopardy. There's a jeopardy that the top fighters. If Anthony Joshua, and I can't inhabit the mind of an elite boxer, but I'm going to try and have an attempt at, having spoken to a lot of them recently on Talk Boxing, is that when you're fighting Daniel Dubois and Alexander Usyk, you are on high alert. The only thing that Anthony Joshua is on high alert about at this moment in time is his reputation if it takes too long to get rid of this twerp. But the actual jeopardy for him in terms of the damage he's likely to... He knows if Daniel Dubois hits him, he's in trouble, and he felt it and he knew it. He knew that if Alexander Usyk got into a rhythm, he was going to get his head boxed off. And there was damage for him here there. The only damage to Anthony Joshua, potentially, is not physical, is reputational-wise. So there's not the same call to action mentally, despite the fact he's got a killer's mentality, and he talks about it himself.
Yeah.
He'll go in there, and I think he'll do what's required to get rid of Jake Paul.
I think it goes in there, Simon, because there's a lot riding on it for Joshua as well.
Agreed.
Because it's absolutely over for him if he gets in any way embarrassed by this guy, Jake Paul. He's got to go in there and blast Paul out of there ASAP.
But why? Because everybody said that the Tyson Fury, everybody thinks, besides Tyson's camp, that he lost to Ngannou. Didn't damage Fury.
Oh no, but come on.
No, come on, hang on. We all say
Ngannou and Jake Paul are different. You told us Ngannou and Jake Paul are different.
If Anthony Joshua doesn't quite do what people think, do you think it will stop him fighting Tyson Fury? Do you think it will stop them paying hundreds of millions of pounds to see him?
I think Joshua would be an absolute laughingstock if he doesn't seriously do a job on Paul.
But he will.
In minutes.
No, but
in the first round.
If Jake Paul has suddenly turned into Wile E. Coyote and can run around the ring for 3 minutes and keep out of the way, I don't think he can. I don't think he's got the footwork or the ability. He talks about Anthony Joshua having 2 left feet. You know, well, he's the Douglas Bader of boxing. He won't be getting away.
What about if there's a happy medium?
From Anthony Joshua.
What about if there's a happy medium where he wins, not as early as everyone expects, but there's a little part in the fight where Jake Paul gets a bit of credit for having a go?
How would you feel if you flew away over to
That's
Miami?
what we'll see.
If you flew away over to Miami, right? And you went all the way over to Miami and you went to see the spectacle.
Well, you were going to go.
I know. You went all the way over to the spectacle and he knocked him out in 10 seconds. You'd be like, what have I come here for?
He's not going to do that.
But that's what he wants.
He'll be paid extra.
That's what he wants. And if he doesn't do that, if Anthony Joshua doesn't do that, then he's a discredit to himself.
I don't want it. I don't want it. But that is surely what must happen from Joshua's point.
Surely at some point, we want to see, don't we just really want it to be a little bit less of a farce? Because in sport, isn't there something that we want which says, well, maybe there's something in this? Because everybody to a man just thinks that Jake Paul is going to get knocked out.
But it's more of a farce if it goes by one round, because everybody will question it then.
Depends what Jake Paul does. If Jake Paul can keep out of Anthony Joshua's way for 3 minutes and manages to do so because he's got great footwork and can keep out of it and then gets pinged in the second round, is everyone going to turn around and say, we should have got him in the first?
Yes, is the answer to that. Yes.
Okay, why? Why?
I mean, I honestly think
when Muhammad Ali got beat by Leon
and that
Spinks,
only is a way.
Okay, when nobody had ever heard of Leon Spinks in 1978.
He was a boxer.
Yeah, but nobody had ever heard of it. Well, Jake Paul's a boxer now. He's a professional boxer.
No, he's decided he's a boxer.
Hey, listen, do you know he's number 15th in the world rankings in the cruiserweights? No. Whether you like it or not, that happens to be a fact.
But you just said moments ago, we've seen him. We saw him against Tommy Fury. No, we know what he is.
Correct.
So the levels are huge.
Correct.
And Joshua will exploit that from the first round.
Yeah, and I suspect he probably will. But the question was in answer to his ridiculous observations about the skill set that he can deploy and the fact that he has more skill than Anthony Joshua.
Danny, this is PSG against Farnborough Town, isn't it?
Well, it should be. But my point is that it won't play out that way because he'll get weighed
Leeds
in.
versus Hereford.
He'll get weighed in.
What happened there?
He'll get weighed in. Wasn't it Hereford Newcastle?
So it is scripted.
Newcastle?
So it's scripted. It's either scripted or it's not scripted.
Yes.
If it's not scripted, he does them in 20 seconds.
There's no way it's not scripted. Every fight he's had's been scripted. He'll get weighed in to make it look a certain way.
Boxing agent, as I said, Sam Jones is in with Simon and myself this lunchtime. Sam, good afternoon, mate. Is boxing going to end the year with a bang here or a big fat damp squib?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I put it down to the fact I'm still not like 100% convinced the fight happens. I can't really believe it's going to happen. I'm sure it is, but like
it's a bit late now, Sam.
I just think something bad could really happen in that fight. If it's a real fight, which is what we're told it is, I'm being convinced it is a real fight. If AJ hits that guy on the cranium, anywhere on the cranium, he's going to be in a very, very bad way.
And yet, the authorities gave it the thumbs up, Simon. So it goes ahead as a bona fide fight.
In Florida, yeah, but we all know what that commission's like. Look, it is what it is. There are three types of sport. There's real high-end sport, which is Better Beer versus Bivol. There is the curated nostalgia under the auspice of being elite fighting, which is Ben versus Eubank. And then there is entertainment, whatever you think of it, and this is entertainment. The only legitimization of boxing that comes into this conversation is because Anthony Joshua was a two-time heavyweight champion of the world. But to my mind, it's not really boxing, it's entertainment. It's using the prism of boxing to mobilize what is a brilliant young entrepreneur in Jake Paul. Yeah. It is a tragedy that he's right in what he says, is that the next generation of people that people aspire to be like are these kinds of broadcasters. Because all they are is broadcasters using a new digital format to create massive outcomes and recognition around the world. And I don't know what he's famous for. I don't know what... I think he's a very clever young man now. And all the things that he says, I'm a CEO, you know, I am a venture capitalist, you know, because he has the funds to be able to invest in different businesses now.
Yeah.
He's a great advocate for women's boxing.
These guys are town criers, Simon, about themselves.
They're a bit more than that. He's a bit more than that.
They make a lot of noise.
Yeah, so do a lot of people.
He's a clever man, isn't he, Jake? He's a very, very clever man. No, he's a marketing genius. He's all of those things he said. I just think that this could go really wrong if like I say, you want him to come out, no matter what anybody thinks about Jake Paul, you want him to get out of the ring and be safe. But the reality is, if AJ hits him like same way he hit Francis Ngannou, he could brown bread him, Jim.
So, some would say it's scripted. Do you go with that?
No, I don't think it is, because I don't think Eddie or AJ would participate if it was scripted that would affect AJ's legacy. Because, for example, if AJ somehow on this earth manages to get through a few rounds, or I mean, if he wins, people are on about, it's a huge no, it's the biggest upset in the history of sport, period, if he beat Anthony Joshua. I don't think you understand it, how one-sided this fight should be. We're talking about a very recent unified heavyweight champion of the world against Jake Paul, who lost to Tommy Fury. That's the reality of what we're looking at here.
You watch it.
I've never denied I'll watch it, because it's like when Simon Cowell used to get excited over magicians trying to climb out of a box. It's the jeopardy involved of trying to climb out the box, because you think, oh my life, what could go wrong here? That's what I'm watching it for the potential. I'm just being honest. I will watch it, but I just think that.
Do you think it's scripted?
No. I mean, I spoke to Eddie. Eddie thinks he'll get him out there without one big shot, but a cluster of punches will take him out. Because if he does take a big shot, like Ngannou to, he's going to get hurt, but he's going to get hurt anyway. That's the nature of the business. People do get hurt in a boxing ring. The best fighters get hurt. So he's not immune to it. The interesting thing will be is exactly how the conclusion of the fight will be and how it gets sold into the public, because people are going to fly around. I was going to go there and watch it, not because I felt the fight had any meaning, but because I wanted to understand the scale of what's going on with Netflix and what's the scale of something like this that can generate 150 million. Because there's only one reason Anthony Joshua's going in there is because someone is foolish enough to say, well, not actually foolish enough, because the metrics of it work out quite nicely for Netflix. So they get 2 million extra subscribers, they get 2 billion out of it. The fact is that they've offered him 75 million quid. That's why he's going in there.
Do you respect Jake Paul for what he's doing?
I find it hard to believe that, because he's got people that have they've boxed themselves. He's got a clever bunch of people around him that are encouraging him that, like, you're already worth hundreds of millions. What on earth are you going to do this for? Like, people have been encouraging Jake to kind of step up in competition, but what they mean by that is go and rematch Tommy Fury, not fight the former unified heavyweight champion of the world. Yeah, you have to respect him for doing it, but at the same time, I think he's completely off his
over and around, is it, for both of you? Over in one round?
No, I don't know, because I think that if he can look after himself, he can scurry away. It can't go past 2 rounds, otherwise Anthony Joshua's legacy is in trouble.
Everybody I ask, all the fighters, whether it be Paul Smith or Duke McKenzie, don't think he's got the toolkit to even be able to get his feet out of range. So he can't do much dent.
No, I agree.
Any work to Anthony Joshua, because he hasn't got the power or the ability to execute.
It's like a journeyman knows how. They're bred to. They learn how to protect themselves. And Paul Smith will articulate it better than me, but they'll know how to move their legs. They'll know how to make certain adjustments to survive. He doesn't have that, because he's boxed for a couple of years. You're fighting Anthony Joshua. People disrespect AJ the way he is, but if he hits him with that right hand,
it's good night.
I hope there's some paramedics on site ready to get to work.
Simon, you mentioned Duke McKenzie there. He was in the wrong end of a bit of a tiff, shall we say, with Conor Benn. We look ahead to the forthcoming fight, and God only knows what that's going to throw up, between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua in Miami, Florida. It's 1 week away.
They say I'm unproven, untested, that I talk big and fight small. Well, surprise.
It's time for America to see what real power looks like.
I want to see who's still talking when this right hand flies.
This is the fight that shuts everyone up.
This is the fight that shuts man down.
This is the moment. This is what you want in boxing. Incredible. What a shot. It is lights out.
Judgment Day. Friday, December the 19th. It's almost upon us. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. That was a teaser on Netflix. Addy is with us for the next hour. Addy, good afternoon. How on earth have we got here?
It all started one day. I don't know. Ultimately, money makes the world go round. There's a lot of money involved in this particular event. There are 2 big personalities, one that's done it from the YouTube world, but to be fair, has stepped into the squared circle as well and had some fights, and one's done it from the boxing world. And these 2 behemoths are coming together on a platform that is really trying to show that they're here to stay when it comes to not just boxing but sport, and a lot of people will watch it. It's madness, but it's madness that's almost must-see madness. Like, everyone will tune in. I think it will do as big a numbers as Canelo Crawford. In that sense, I'm thinking, considering what that was. I am still surprised that, and I know Nikisa will probably sort of push back on this, I'm still surprised it's been sanctioned and that it's not a quote-unquote exhibition fight. But then again, I watch fights all over the world. I've been ringside for some fights that I'm like, how has that been sanctioned? So I guess me and Simon have said this before, boxing's the wild, wild west. And as long as there's enough powerful people and money involved things will get over the line. And this is one of those
I
things.
think I heard you mention there are two behemoths involved here. How is Jake Paul a behemoth?
He's a behemoth in terms of his following and in terms of the pulling power he has. He's now, whether hardcore boxing fans want to admit this, he's one of the faces of boxing. And that's saying something. Like, the amount of people that put their hands up to want to fight Jake Paul when they realised the Gervonta Davis fight weren't happening. He can... Like, Alexander Usyk says he wants to fight him. Yeah, like that's the one of the biggest names in the sport. There aren't that many people.
You love this sport, Addy, and you love working in it. Is it an uncomfortable truth, if you like, that Jake Paul is part of the top flight boxing scene?
No, it's the truth.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. But I also know
uncomfortable or not.
No, it's not uncomfortable. I mean, boxing's now become a 365-day-a-year sport. There seems to be events on every single day. I can live with Jake Paul having 2 of those days, knowing that I'm still going to get decent fights for the majority of the year. So yes, sometimes I tune in and it's a Jake Paul thing, and I'm like, but then I also know I'm getting Bivol Beterbiev in a couple of weeks. I'm getting Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo.
What, the real stuff?
Yeah, I'm getting the real stuff. So I can live with this, but I'm not going to pretend to be an idiot by saying I'm not going to watch it, because I am. I'm definitely going to watch it.
Oh yeah.
I need to see what's going to happen here.
Do you think, Simon, that yes, it's fine and it's true that Jake Paul has become a face of boxing?
I think he's part of the financial tapestry of boxing. I don't think he's a face of boxing. I don't think he represents boxing of the sport in any significance. He represents the commercial opportunities. It's no coincidence that this product lands at Netflix, which is an entertainment business. So as far as boxing as a sport is concerned, Jake Paul is utilising the recognizability for some reason that he has. I don't know, with no disrespect to the kid intended, who's made a fortune, and fair play to him. I admire anybody that's got the entrepreneurial spirit to be successful in the world. I don't know what he's famous for. He's now utilizing boxing, and he's bringing an audience. Netflix are looking at this and going, let's have a look at this. We put Tyson versus Jake Paul on. Our lifetime value of a subscriber is $900. We got 2 million extra subscribers out of that. That's 1.8 billion, and we paid them 100 million to do it. Good business if we can get it. It crosses over entertainment. It brings an opportunity. The bigger question is how does it draw Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk into the equation? And the only reason it draws them into the equation is because it's an easy night's work for 75 million quid. Everybody would do it. Every fighter would take it because it's not really fighting. The consequence of it is, the reasons why it's in Florida is because it's one of those Wild West states that will license something like this, because no grown-up state really would license a fight of this significance in terms of a former 2-time heavyweight champion of the world against, at best, an area level fighter.
Yeah. Well, as you might imagine, back with Addy and Simon in a moment, Jake Paul has been building up to this fight as only Jake Paul can do. And he's been showing off a black eye. He's been sporting a black eye, and he was more than happy to show that off to his mates. Have a listen.
Wait, is your eye okay? How'd that happen? Who are you sparring?
I'm sparring a bunch of world champion heavyweights. I think Lawrence Okolie did that to me. He's like 6'6", 270.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. What are you weighing right now?
I'm like 215.
Get to what weight to fight AJ?
220.
What's AJ's weight? 220?
He'll be like 250 in the ring.
Huh? 250?
Yeah.
Jake, 250 pounds he's going to fight at.
Yeah. It's definitely a pretty wild fight, my brother.
I've been sparring a bunch of heavyweights. I think it was Lawrence Okolie who hit me. Do you think he can win, Addy?
Absolutely not. No chance. No way. I don't even think, and this is being very serious, this shouldn't go beyond a round. There's no way, and Simon said it, this is a former unified heavyweight champion of the world that I still believe is a top 10 heavyweight against, at best, an area level fighter. If AJ was fighting an area level heavyweight now, it wouldn't go beyond a round. I'd expect AJ to get rid of him, let alone AJ being 40 pounds heavier. The Americans look at AJ slightly different to how we do. They look at him as someone that's washed up. When he was in their country, he got beat by Andy Ruiz, who's not gone on to do anything. If Andy Ruiz went on to have this glittering career, then it maybe would have made that defeat look a lot bigger. They watched him recently get defeated by Daniel Dubois. They think he's done. So they don't have respect for him maybe the way we do over here. So Jake thinks he can win. I've been around Jake, and he's delusional, but he's very strong-minded. So he thinks he can win, but there's no way this should go beyond 3 minutes.
Who's the A side? Who walks into the ring first?
AJ walks into the ring first, so Jake Paul's the A side. It does say Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, not Anthony Joshua versus Jake.
So AJ goes into the ring first.
AJ goes into the ring first, which I think would be only the second time in his career, I believe.
And then the big build up for Jake Paul to walk in.
Yeah, but ultimately, if I'm AJ, look, there would have been options that would have been put across his desk. Maybe a Tony Yoka would have been put across his desk for a fifth of this. Jake Paul comes across your desk. You're thinking this must be a joke, and it says 60 million on it. You're gonna take it. You're gonna take it, and if you're A side, your B side, even if there's a C side, you're gonna be happy to take that. Get to America, have a sparring session, and come back home.
Yeah. Funnily enough, Addy mentioning Andy Ruiz Jr. 6 years ago this week, Joshua got his revenge on Ruiz Jr. Simon and won the IBF, WBA, WBO heavyweight titles in Saudi Arabia.
I don't think Andy Ruiz has stepped out the larder since then, has he?
If somebody had said to AJ that night, 6 years from now, you're going in against a YouTuber, he'd be like, you kidding me?
Yeah, but the world turns. I mean, I try to ask people what this fight looks like, and is there any capability for Jake Paul to stay out of Anthony Joshua's way long enough to take it past the round? Is there any capability that he has? Because if he steps into range, he's going to get knocked out and he could get hurt. I speak to Hearn about it. Are you worried about him getting hurt? Of course not, because then he's going to get a big bag of money. But the fact is, he thinks that Joshua will get him out there with a cluster of punches rather than one big shot that knocks Ngannou out, because Jake Paul won't put himself in the range of being hit on the chin like Ngannou did. But no one can make a case. None of the fighters that I talked to, whether you talk to Paul Smith or anyone else I've spoken to, Angel Fernandez talking about it, which Anthony Joshua's training the other day, they don't think he's got the footwork to be able to keep out of Anthony Joshua's way. Even if Anthony Joshua wants to go in there half-cocked and carry him like Jake LaMotta in Raging Bull did for a couple of rounds.
Yeah.
Even if he wanted to do that, Jake Paul hasn't got anything to be able to get out of the way.
Well, as we said, Addy, 6 years ago, Anthony Joshua more or less revived his career by seeing Andy Ruiz Jr. off. Where's his career after this one? Presuming he wins very comfortably, what would be next for Anthony Joshua?
It's all mapped out, isn't it? I mean,
Soppy Bob's packed up, hasn't he, again?
Yeah,
he's
Tyson Fury
he's now back in the mix,
he's now back in.
Tyson Fury?
Yeah, he put an Instagram post.
I'm back.
Pretty much.
No one's talking about me.
Yeah. So it's mapped out, isn't it? I mean, Turkey was on stage in the Ben Eubank fight and said, didn't he, that he wants AJ to fight in February and then in September. So I'm guessing February is a top 20 guy, and then September they're hoping finally will be Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. If this fight goes past against Jake Paul, goes past 3 or 4 rounds, it completely just scuppers those plans. Like AJ needs to get rid of Jake Paul the way we saw Ben Whittaker get rid of Benjamin Gavazzi. When you're in there against someone that is substandard and below your level, make them look substandard and everyone move on and everyone
blast
pack
them
up
out.
and go.
Or the way AJ got rid of Ngannou.
Yeah, very, very quickly, just probably, when I mentioned Jake Paul being the face of boxing, not just him, I think what he does do that I think does deserve to be credited or at least accepted is what he does for female boxing. Like what he's done for the MVP promotions.
He just signed Caroline Dubois, hasn't he?
Yeah, just signed Caroline Dubois. I mean, he's helped put on 3 fights for Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, where they would have earned best paydays. Right. So I think he's done a lot for that side of boxing. So yes, I know he's not everyone's cup of tea when he steps in the ring, but what he does in terms of his promotional company, I think it's been really good for the sport.
Many of you getting in touch. Here's Chris. Jake Paul should have called out Chisora or Dillian White. AJ will destroy him. We'll see what happens, but it's fast approaching. Jake Paul, what's it going to be on the night? The winner or heavily defeated? We shall see.
Great champion of the world. He's done it twice now. The WBO, for me, is and they might not like to hear it, but is the runt of the litter of all the belts. It's probably the first one up in terms of it, the mandatory, so it's the first one he's relinquished. He might relinquish another one because the inability, he's unable, really, if the sanctioning bodies do their jobs properly, which they very rarely do, to be able to keep all the belts any period of time and fulfill the obligations for mandatory challenges. So it's not surprising to me. If I'm Joseph Parker, I would be pulling my head off at this moment in time.
Oh, yeah.
Because not only have I taken a fight that I didn't need to take,
yes,
not only have I fought a fight in a way that I didn't need to fight it, I've now got myself into trouble with a failed recreational drugs test, and I've watched what should have been my position as the WBO interim champion elevated now to the bona fide heavyweight champion of the world, very similar to what happened with Daniel Dubois.
Right. So from Usyk's point of view, Simon, was there next to nothing in fighting Fabio Wardley for him?
Well, yeah. I mean, what for him, if he wants to fight and keep on fighting, he's beaten the best of the best. And with all due respect to Fabio, I don't think Fabio would lay claim to that. So where does he go? Is it a monetizable fight, Fabio Wardley versus Alexander Usyk, to the levels that Alexander Usyk might think is worth his time? I would doubt it. So he's looked at it and gone, no, I don't. In fact, if you're going to make me have this fight, and the unfortunate thing about it is I do feel. I mean, I know that Joseph has got some questions to answer about this recreational drugs test that he's failed, but he must be exasperated because I don't know why Usyk couldn't have just vacated this when he was asked to.
Yeah.
He asked everybody to give him an extension due to the fact he was injured, right? And so he got his extension, and in that period of time, Joe Parker took a fight that he didn't need to take. He lost the fight, and fair play to Fabio. But Joe Parker had earned the right to be having his shot, had it taken away by timing, and Fabio Wardley's got the benefit of it. And fabulous for Fabio.
Right.
Fabulous for Fabio.
Right.
He's some people say, well, you haven't won the belt. Well, with due respect, if Usyk had done what he should have done, which is vacate, then the fight that he had with Joseph Parker would have been for the belt anyway. In the same way that the situation with Daniel Dubois, when he fought Filip Hrgovic and beat Hrgovic, he then got awarded the IBF belt as a result of it, and then went and bashed up Anthony Joshua.
But Fabio doesn't really want to win the belt like this, so Simon, does he?
No, not really. But I tell you what, he'll take it because he'll consider if you said to Fabio Wardley, you're going to fight Joseph Parker for the WBO heavyweight championship of the world, and you're going to become world champion afterwards, would you be happy with that? He'd say, yeah. Well, he just did.
Right.
And the only thing that happened was that Alexander Usyk decided to disavail himself of the belt 3 weeks after the fight, whereas he could have done this months ago.
Sure. Okay. Now, in the build-up to Conor Ben Eubank Jr., a fight that Conor Ben won and won convincingly on Saturday night, promoter Eddie Hearn was interviewed by virtually everybody in the broadcasting world. And suddenly, there was light shed on it. What's the chance, he was asked, of AJ fighting Jake Paul?
It's difficult to have this conversation. I think sometimes you just need to be as honest as possible. Should Jake Paul be fighting Anthony Joshua? No. Is he mad to do it? Yeah. Is there tens and tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars for Anthony Joshua to have an 8-round run out against Jake Paul? Yes.
And that's why you're doing it.
We're not doing it. We're considering it. And at the moment, there's work to be done. But could it happen? Yes, it could.
When Eddie spoke to us last week, it was beyond the consideration point, it's fair to assess. It was on, and now we know the fight will take place on the 19th of December in Miami, live on Netflix. Anthony Joshua against Jake Paul. You were onto this yesterday, and
Sure.
I watched you during the break.
Yeah.
How far, Simon, should the boundaries of safety be pushed for entertainment purposes?
Well, it depends what this is.
This is what's happening.
I mean, there is a change in sport and the way that it's been packaging, and people like me have got to grow up a little bit at times because I railed against the Eubank Ben situation. I railed against the media characterisation of it, and what it wasn't elite sport. In my view, it was entertainment mixing with elite sport and had more jeopardy about it than potentially this. This is entertainment. This is a superstar of boxing being morphed into a digital world with a content creator in Jake Paul that brings audiences like no one's ever seen. And so it's understandable. Now, if the purists like me want to get up on our high horse about what this is and what this isn't, then perhaps we should grow up a little bit and realise that entertainment is nothing is original anymore. Everything is being rebooted. Look at Marvel throwing out films left, right, and centre from the same formula, and the audience is wanting to buy it because of the digital landscape that they live in and the way that we deliver content now and what content looks like. So for me, I look at it and go, this is a $150 million fight. Ridiculous as it is. And the reasons is because if you look at Netflix are putting the money up for this. This won't be a pay-per-view proposition. This will be a drive for subscribers. If you look at the revenues that Netflix generated out of the Tyson versus Jake Paul fight, they got 2 million additional subscribers on the back of Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul.
So this will be the same.
Now the average value of a Netflix subscriber is $900. Right, so you get an LTV of a $900 subscriber, which costs you $80 to get in the first place. You've put 2 million subscribers on. You've generated 1.9 billion in additional revenue for Netflix. Of course, they're going to pay 100 million to the fighters, and they're going to pay 100 million to Jake Paul and to Anthony Joshua. Whatever this is, there'll be a whole raft of advertising deals. Sorry, in terms of merchandising and sponsorship deals, and there'll be 20 million gate receipts.
Right.
It's a $150 million fight.
Right.
This is easy work. Now, here goes the question: should it be sanctioned? Is something like to happen? Well, he's a professional fighter. Whatever you think of him. He can't beat Tommy Fury, so he won't be able to beat Anthony Joshua. It depends how Anthony Joshua takes it. You know, he could deal with him in a cluster of punches and get rid of him, or he could knock him out and really hurt him.
That's the thing.
But that's why he'll get licensed in a Floridian licensing place.
Of course,
because
but
they're quite lax about that sort of stuff.
But you said moments ago, Sam, and you're right. We know it is. We know what it's not. It's not an exhibition fight.
So they say.
It's a professional bout that will consist of 8 3-minute rounds, and both fighters will wear regulation 10-ounce gloves. This is more like it. Spencer Oliver, not in some far-flung place, not on Zoom, in this very studio with White and Jordan. This Thursday lunchtime, live in talkSPORT, live on YouTube. What more do you need? Spencer, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jim. Final boxing hour of the year. Where would I want to be? I have to be here. Could have been Miami, but
I know.
Here we are.
I know. I'm wiping a tear from I'm covered in emotion. This is quite a moment, isn't it?
Don't you laud and applaud him? This little gimp has been telling me all week that the reasons why we have any success is because of him. This boxing hour was made by him. He's the reasons why you and I have any resonance in the boxing world, because of him.
Jim, may I just say, is this called the Spencer Oliver Boxing Hour?
There you go. That's what he said.
Is it called the Spencer Oliver and Simon Jordan, or Simon Jordan Spencer Oliver Hour?
No, it's called the Spencer Oliver Boxing Hour.
Oh, thank you. So, thank you, Jim. Thank you.
Is that's why you have it? Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Do you have your own walk-on music?
No, would I want it?
No.
The Ride of the Valkyrie.
Spencer, watch how you go there.
March
He's
of the
spraying
swivel
deep
heads.
heat everywhere. It'll either blind you or sting you where you don't want to be
Spray it
stung.
on top of your head.
Spencer Oliver is with us this hour, and over in Miami, and we'll be joining him very shortly, is fight pundit for talkSPORT, of course, writer for The Telegraph, Gareth A. Davis. Gareth, we're coming your way very soon because all the talk now is about Anthony Joshua against Jake Paul. YouTuber Jake Paul going in the ring, yes, with Anthony Joshua. This is happening in the early hours of Saturday morning in Miami, Florida, and Jake Paul has been entertaining us in the last few hours.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, falling down.
I don't think it will happen, but you asked a question. What was your question?
No, my question is, of course, I know you don't believe that.
No, wait, what do you say?
Boston Tea Party 2.0, fam.
What's a Boston Tea Party? What's a Boston Tea Party?
It's something that happened many years ago. There was some tea that they threw off. It's a long story. It was in Boston.
Yeah.
He's trying to say he's going to knock you out.
Oh, okay.
All a bit bizarre, but hey, the whole thing's bizarre, is it not? Jake Paul fighting Anthony Joshua in the first place. As I say, Spencer is back here with Simon and myself in London. Let's head to Miami. Gareth A. Davis. Gareth, how are you, mate? What on earth did you sit in on there? What did you witness?
Well, it's a very bizarre event, as you all know. I mean, you all have been around big boxing matches and big events, and it's just a bizarre... It's the Jake Paul show. He's the A-side on this, and everyone that boxes him from the fight world kind of tacitly agrees, yields that it's the Jake Paul show. So it's all about him, and I think Anthony Joshua's been playing that game. He knows he's a player in the Jake Paul game. He just mustn't be embarrassed out there tomorrow night, and I don't think he will be.
Yeah, but I mean, Gareth, I've had many conversations with you. You've been lucky enough, on merit, to cover some of the biggest fights that we've ever seen. What did you honestly feel when you were sitting there in the group of people watching Jake Paul going through his antics there in the build-up to him, not anybody else, him going in against AJ?
Well, I think Anthony Joshua was pilloried for saying that he would kill him in the ring, and what he meant was that he's legally licensed to hurt Jake Paul. He was doing a bit of salesmanship. It got Tyson Fury out in his Land Rover with his kids, kind of building up that fight for next year. Anthony Joshua's admitted that he's in this game, so it is a game, and I think physically he's taking Jake Paul seriously. Philosophically, he even talked about losing yesterday, even though he doesn't think he'll lose, and he said, I can always headline again. I mean, literally, it will take something of biblical proportions, David beating Goliath again, essentially, for Jake Paul to do something. He hasn't really even got a puncher's chance. So we're just going to wait to see what Anthony Joshua wants to do tomorrow night. Does he want to take him a few rounds, get a few rounds in the bag? Does he want to hurt him to the body a little bit, toy with him? Will Jake Paul cause a little bit of drama? And I do think, and the guys know, I mean, Simon, Spencer, yourself, you know boxing. he won't acquiesce to everything Jake wants to do. But the bigger picture here really is that Jake Paul, in a quartet of events in the last 13 months, is helping Netflix to get really involved in the big streaming services with live sport as opposed to us binging series. That's the big picture here, really.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, guys. Spencer, before you come in, Simon, that's you said that actually at the outset, didn't you?
Well, if you look at the subscription numbers post the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight, there were 2 million additional subscribers that were put on. If you look at the lifetime value of a subscriber, it's $900. If you look at the revenues generated in the broadest terms, that's 1.8 billion. And they paid 100 million for it, alongside delivering content to the existing 300 million people that pay $12 a month or whatever it is to Netflix. So it adds a whole new dimension, and Jake Paul's opened that door. I don't buy into the crap that he's been the best thing for boxing. He's been the best thing for himself, but he's also been very useful to an entertainment platform that's now pivoting into sport.
Yeah, I think he's brought a new audience, to new eyeballs to the game as well, hasn't he? You know, and I think that Netflix is the prime place for that to land, you know, with Jake Paul's audience. Gareth, I wanted to ask you, you know, you've been around both guys this week, and as we know, Anthony Joshua is very much in fight mode now. He knows what's on the line, and it's not about winning for him, for me. It's about how quickly he wins, because he knows that if he gets into that round 2, every second that ticks past, I think Jake Paul gains credibility and Anthony Joshua loses it. So he knows what's on the line here with his, you know, roadmap to a chance to become 3-time world heavyweight champion. He has to get the job done and do it in good fashion here.
Yeah, but I think he'll also want to do a little bit of a show, Spencer. I want to have a little look at Jake Paul. I don't think it's going to end in seconds. I think it might go to early in the 3rd round. That's my prediction. Anyway, when I spoke to David Hay, who we'll hear from, I think, on the YouTube channel, on the boxing YouTube channel, I tried to say to him yesterday, put yourself in the mind of Jake Paul. And he said exactly that, which you're intimating, which is try and get through a round against Anthony Joshua, start to create some doubt in his mind that you are hard to find. It's a 22-foot ring, not the biggest, but just try and survive as long as possible. Anthony Joshua won't want to go to the judges. That would be a dangerous thing to do, and just do the rounds. So I think he will want to be firm, and he will want to complete the act, if you like, and stop Jake Paul. But it wouldn't surprise me if he went body hunting rather than head hunting, so that he gets a win-win out of this in lots of ways.
But Gareth, surely, if AJ ends up finishing him off in the 3rd round, in doing so, he's lost all credibility. It's got to be the first moments of the 1st round or nothing, surely.
Well, that's your view, but that's not necessarily mine. I think if we do see a bit of a show, then that's fine. I think if we do see a little bit of drama, I think that's fine. As I say, this is Disneyland of boxing. This is a kid that came from the Disney Channel. You know, as I say again,
so it's
go
scripted.
back to Simon's point
it's
on
scripted.
it. No, it's not scripted, but people tacitly, Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley, these guys that have fought Jake Paul, they tacitly buy into what this is, which is a game. It's Disneyland of boxing. But I do think he'll slowly marinate him in there. I don't think he'll go for broke early on. I think when he knocked out Francis Ngannou, he knew that Ngannou was coming headhunting for him, and it was that kind of right hand that went from west to east all the way through Ngannou and left him comatose almost. I think it'll be a gentler process. But like you say, these guys are gulfs apart. So it's going to be interesting to see this whole event. We've got the weigh-ins today. We're going to the early weigh-ins this morning as well. Let's see what happens on the night. It may well be a disappointing, flat affair again, rather like when Mike Tyson fought him 13
Gareth,
months ago.
you're there and I'm not. But if it's going to be a, to quote you, gentler process, that to me equals scripted. What fight begins
well, no, I just
with this will be a gentle process, we'll see where it goes, and then he'll put him away. We don't have fights like that. This is different. And if this is a gentler process approach, it's scripted.
Well, I think Simon said it all the way through the build-up to this, and he's got it spot on. This is not a real fight. It's an act in the Jake Paul show, and Anthony Joshua is a bit part player in it. 80 million subscribers to Netflix, which is a point I was trying to make just now, are in America. They're the biggest subscriber base, 27%. It's for that audience, and most of that audience is Jake Paul's audience.
Yeah, I think, Gareth, though, you know, I don't think that Anthony Joshua actually would put his whole reputation on the line by going through with a scripted fight, if you like. I think that for Anthony Joshua, knowing Anthony Joshua, he's the type of guy when he gets into fight week, he's in, you know, he knows where he wants to go here. He knows how he has to look. And for me, I think he goes out there and he tries to get the job done very quickly.
See, I think scripting is the wrong terminology. I think recognising the opposition you're fighting is the correct terminology. If he's on high alert for Daniel Dubois and for Alexander Usyk, he's not on high alert for Jake Paul. The only thing he's on high alert there is the damage reputation it could do. But he took the fight in the first place, which is already reputationally damaging for him, because everyone knows it's a farce of a fight.
Yeah.
So I think what you get is not a scripted position. You get a slightly less aroused Anthony Joshua than the one that would go in against the live heavyweight contender that's going to cause him harm.
That's one way of saying it, Simon.
But it is.
It's a pretty damn wordy way of saying it. A slightly less aroused Anthony.
Well, it's not curated.
We welcome from the UK a slightly less aroused Anthony Joshua.
He's not going to carry him around a ring like Jake LaMotta did.
So it's not authentic?
No, I don't think it is authentic, no.
No.
It's not an authentic fight. Jake Paul's not an authentic fighter.
Gareth, it seems to be a bit breezy out there in Florida, and we want to thank you for getting up early to join us. Good to see you and Simon on Talking Terms as well.
It's an absolute pleasure to come on, guys. I love the show, as you know.
Gareth, nice one. Gareth, thank you very much indeed. Do you want to spread a bit of goodwill across the Atlantic?
Little stir. I feel like I need to go and have a bloody good wash if I find myself being in agreement with Gareth.